What's up guys, T here, and this is going to be the Naval Doctrine video in which we're going to look at the focuses, what I recommend and what they kind of entail and what the difference between the three are. And so just kind of lay that out, just take a time out to look at them and really fully understand them. I've also made one on land doctrine and air doctrines now, so you can find those linked at the end of the video. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. And the first thing we're going to look at is fleet and being, just because it's on the left here. And this is going to mainly focus, and you can read it right up here, it's going to focus on your capital ships, mainly battleships, battle cruisers, heavy cruisers. It's also going to focus on carriers, and it's good for countries with like a main force navy, kind of like a ship of the line kind of feel to them. Countries that can just produce tons of ships and are going to be your main benefactors from having a large navy. So some notable buffs for this doctrine are it's going to be giving your capital ships, your heavy cruisers, those kind of things, a lot of organization and a boost to armor and attack. So it's going to be focusing on that. And then some countries I'd recommend doing this for are the UK, the USA, and Japan. So those are going to be your three main force navies that are going to have, you know, A+ navies. They're going to be the large full-scale navies, and as history tells us, that's accurate. So that's what I recommend using those for. The next one over is going to be your trade interdiction, and this is going to focus on convoy raiding, convoy defense, and it's going to be primarily used for countries with small navies that lack naval production. And this is going to be like, okay, I want to have a presence so I can kind of toy with the enemy, but at the same time, I don't have the ability to fight major navies like the UK, USA, Japan. And then your notable buffs for this doctrine are going to be focusing on submarines, and that's where it's really notable. It's this wing right down here. It's going to increase the sub's ability to find targets as well as destroy them. So if you want to use submarine warfare, definitely this one right here, and then this wing. And the countries I'd recommend using this with are Germany, Italy, and the USSR, because they have naval production, but they don't have full naval production. They're just kind of going to be trying to focus on interfering with the enemy's convoys and defending their own convoys, because that's important too. And then the final one here we have is base strike, and this is going to have a huge focus on carriers and using carriers to engage land targets and naval targets, but mostly the buff comes in against land targets. Its notable buffs focus on carrier organization, battle efficiency, so like reloading your planes, and overcrowding. So like if you have too many planes on a carrier, it's going to give you a penalty, but this is going to like reduce that penalty, so that's focused in there. And it's going to be good for like the UK, the USA, and Japan. And really this one's quite similar to the fleet and being. And before I break this down, I kind of just want to go into like a formal like kind of summary. So like all three give pretty equal buffs. They're all going to increase your destroyers detection of submarines. They're all going to increase your submarines attack and detection in some way, and they're all going to increase your capital ships in some minor way. It's just the difference between the three is some do it slightly better. So the first one's going to improve the capitals the best, like the battleships, the heavy cruisers, battle cruisers. That's going to do the best, but it still does good carrier. The middle one's going to do trade interdiction the best, so that's going to be the best for the submarines. It's going to have the best submarine buffs. And then the third one is going to focus on carriers attacking land targets, and it's also going to have some of the better carrier buffs. Now with those three summaries, I think it stands out clear that fleet and being and base strike are kind of your two main fleet ones, whereas trade interdiction is kind of like a small fleet. And the difference between fleet being and base strike is going to be one's carrier based and one's battleship based. Alright guys, that's going to do it for my naval doctrine video. I know it was extremely short, especially compared to the land doctrine or even the air doctrine. I think it's a bit shorter, and that's just because there's not as much to talk about in particular about this. The buffs are just so similar across the three. It's just those three minor differences that we just covered. But anyway, I hope this helps. So if you enjoyed it, or if it did help you, please leave a like, share. It means a lot to me. And feel free to leave any comments, questions, or requests on future tips down in the comment section below. I'll be sure to look at that and get back to you. And as always guys, thanks for watching.